started.
All right. Well, good evening, Drew. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm very good. I'm very good. I'm pleased to be here with you this evening. My name is Jake Nelson. Before we begin, I want to say just a quick word about the confidentiality of our time. As I said, my name is Jake. I'm a student counselor at Spring Arbor University. Our session tonight is going to be recorded and it'll be viewed by my professor for her review. But outside of us and my professor, nobody else will see our recording, so everything else will be confidential. However, that said, I am a mandated reporter. So if for any reason you were deemed to be a harm to yourself or others, I would have to share that. Do you have any questions about that confidentiality? Awesome. Well, then I guess to begin our time tonight, if you'd like, I'd love to pass the ball over to you. And if you want to jump in with just a few words about what brings you in this evening.
Yeah. Um, yeah, honestly, like just things in my life has been heavy and tough. I think my most pressing issue that I've been um sitting with is I just feel lonely. I felt a lot of friendships coming and going. Like I've since I've graduated undergraduate, and the church that I went to was at college. I'm just kind of in a different stage of life, and it's hard to spend time with people, and with friends, and that's just it's been really isolating, um, to just have everyone like I feel like I don't have a lot of close friends anymore.
Yeah, yes, I'm hearing you say that there's a lot of loneliness going on. Has it been a major change outside of just the friendships? Have there been other changes in your life to go along with that?
Yeah. Um, I've also started a relationship about almost 6 months ago. Like kind of when I started losing a lot of those friendships. I started graduate school as well. And I started a full-time job. So, um, suddenly my time has changed drastically. I'm not able to just spend as much time with people. Um, because of my relationship with my girlfriend and grad school and work full time. So,
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Are there any other reasons that you can maybe look to as to why some of those relationships, why there might be less time or why they've um, dropped a little bit?
um, yeah, a lot of it has been a reliance on church. Uh, it's been, I didn't realize how much of my friendships and relationships just relied heavily on going to small group and going to church. And I always do that. I've been leading for a while and like doing small group leading, um, leading prayer ministry, um, doing stuff like church on Sunday, leading some prayer stuff with that. Um, and since I've kind of taken some steps back, but because of that, it's been people at the college, a lot of the people who are coming in are like 18, 19, and they kind of see me as like, oh, he's more spiritual. I can turn to him as a mentor. Um, and because of that, they don't view me as a peer or a friend. Um, and so oftentimes they'll hang out in groups and hang out together, and I'm just not even invited. And meanwhile, my other friends who I like grew pretty close with have graduated. Um, and then on top of that, like the pastors at our church, I came to Christ about 2 years ago. Um, they really like took me under their wing. One in particular really was like help mentoring me and stuff. But as new college students came in, he's kind of it's felt very isolating because he's been spending a ton of time with them, which makes sense. He's a pastor. That's part of his ministry. And it feels like he does not um, almost value that relationship with me anymore. I've tried multiple times like to reach out just to do the things that we used to do, and he's kind of he doesn't have time. He's like, I can't, I'm busy. I'll let you know when I have time. And then that just has like stretched on for months, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to let you know as we're talking, I personally like to remember things by writing them down. So if it looks like I'm looking off screen, it's so I can write down. That way, you can make the most of our time and value what you're saying. So, um, yeah,
Thank you.
that's that. But yeah, so that's all really interesting. I'm hearing you say, like you said, a little bit of isolation there with friendships, and a transition, and maybe in some of the friends and relationships that you're having. I wanted to ask you, has that happened before in your life, where there's been a transition among friends or peers?
Yeah. Yep. Few different times. Um, yep. When I was in middle school, I felt like I lost all my friends. And then even throughout high school, I felt like I didn't have any friends until like my senior year. And so I feel like there's been a lot of feelings of abandonment with loss of friends throughout, um, yeah, throughout the years. Whether that's at school or even in like college, there have been times where I get pretty close to someone and then suddenly like they're gone or whatever reason, you know, we're unable to see each other and then uh, yeah, there's just feelings of loss with that.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that that's been um, more than one instance of that happening. Um, how have you managed? Um, yeah, have you managed to deal with that? If you have developed, I don't know if you've developed any strategies of how to cope with that, or is that something that's just kind of yeah you're navigating as you go?
I gotta navigate as I go. I'm learning some coping strategies. One of the big things is I told you like I've started a relationship and it's hard not to put all of my like neediness for community and neediness for wanting connection with her. Um, so I'm trying to like spend more time and intentional time like inviting people to do stuff. Um, but that's not gone super well. I'm not gonna lie. It's been a lot of like, oh, can't hang out. Oh, can't do that, you know. Or our time frame is just different. Like, oh, I have class this time, and I'm working at whatever time they're free. Um, so it's been very hard to actually find that time.
Yeah, well, I'm hearing you say that you have um, a new relationship that you're it seems like enjoying. Um, but then also, I've heard you mention church a couple of times in small groups, and um, those can be tight knit relationships sometimes. Is that something that you desire or very close friendships?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Um, yeah. I feel like I had a good group of friends growing up, and there was a point when I realized I didn't know anything about them other than that they like play video games, and so did I. And that felt really isolating. I was like, they don't even know. Like, I've been through some crap, um, with like family stuff and like a bunch of other stuff. So, um, I realized at one point like they didn't even know any of that, and it made me realize, oh, I don't really have friends that know me or know my life. They just know my hobbies. And that made me realize, oh, I want friends who know me, you know, and care about who I am. Um, so that's yes, I do have a longing to have people specifically pursue me in the equal way that I pursue them.
Mm.
Um, which is I don't know how good that is because I'm like I feel like I can pursue people really well. I'm usually the person reaching out. So when I that's not reciprocated after some time, then I just feel like, oh, we're not friends, you know. Um, and I felt that with those previous friends. I actually grew really close to one of them, but then the other guys, like I talked to them like, hey, we should talk and get to know each other more. And they're like, want to do that. Um, so that feels, isolating, but uh, or just hard, I guess. I don't know if
Yeah.
isolating is the right word.
Sure. Well, you said that it sounds like you have some other things going on in life, like your own life is transitioning a number of areas. You also mentioned school, and that your personal time is decreasing. Do you feel like the people that you reach out to or that you desire those friendships with, or just peers in general, do you feel like in their lives that is similarly true, where time has become a constraint, or there might be other factors at play?
Yeah, for sure. Um, as you get older, like yeah, just time is so different um, as you grow up. So yeah, I think even from that's even part of it of like I don't have time to do all of I'm not on a college schedule. I don't have all the time during the day to hang out with people to um yeah, to just get to know people and stuff. Um and so I think that my time being so much different than some of my current friends has made it really hard to um, to actually feel connected or even like wanted. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, when they're like hanging out and doing stuff, and I'm not even like um, being thought of. It feels like I'm not being thought of because I'm not. People are asking me like, "Oh, you want to hang out too?" When they used to do that, you know. So it just feels, yeah, it feels like I've been, as I mentioned before, abandoned in some ways, you know.
Mm,
Um,
yeah. Um, I want to bring it back for just a second. When we speak of abandonment or isolation, just as we're getting to know each other, I want to give us kind of a baseline for some of these things. So I want to ask you on a scale of 1 to 10, with one being the low end, meaning I feel like absolutely nobody knows me. It's the worst case scenario. Um, I just I don't hang out with anybody. I don't see anybody. It's just me on my own. No friends, no family, nothing. And 10 being I feel absolutely known and loved and cared for with close, intimate friends, a relationship, family, all of the things. Where would you see yourself on that scale?
ooh, that's a good one. A four. I'd say a four. Um,
Yeah, a four. Okay. Okay. Um, so I'm also hearing you say that you feel like there's a bit of abandonment there. Um, which when we first began talking, you expressed that there's feelings of isolation.
mhm.
Um, but to add into that abandonment, I'm curious, what does that make you feel when you think about the idea of abandonment?
Mm, um, it makes me feel invisible. Um, it makes me feel, I know invisible is not a feeling, but it makes me feel like I am not there. It makes me feel like it wouldn't matter if I were there or not. Um, yeah, I think that's the right feelings,
Sure.
but yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so what I want to lead you in another direction then. What would the opposite of that feel like?
Hmm. Um, what would the opposite of that feel like? I feel like it would be um being able to express myself freely and like have people who are equally as interested in me as I am in them. Um, yeah, yeah, just people caring what I think. I think.
Absolutely. That's good. So I want to keep rolling on that kind of train of thought there, um, as we move from what you say that you're currently feeling, which might be feelings of invisibility, but then more towards the other side where you feel like you can express yourself freely, where you are known. I want you to do me a favor. It can be maybe a little scary or uncomfortable, but uh, I want you to imagine a couple months into the future, maybe, or maybe you just wake up tomorrow and there's like a miracle that happens overnight, and that all of those things, those deep friendships, have suddenly become true. What would you feel like moving through your day?
think I would feel very full. I think I would feel very fulfilled in in my relationships, I guess. I would just, yeah, feel full and like not a desire to I don't know, to feel seen, I guess. Like I think the thing that would be gone is the feeling that I'm not seen. Um, yeah. So I would feel seen and heard and um I guess valuable.
So let's imagine for a second that you do feel those things, that you are feeling valuable, that you are feeling seen. What would that change about your actions day to day?
Hmm.
What
I
would you
think
be
I
most
would need,
likely doing?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I would feel a lot less pressure to perform. Um, I would feel a lot less. I think I would not need to um, change myself in any way. I would just need, I would be more open and honest with how I'm feeling. And um, yeah, um, yeah, I think, yeah, I don't know. I think I would be like searching for things less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And then let's flip it to maybe some of those other friendships then. What do you think in this new world, what would your friends likely be doing and how would your friends likely be feeling?
Hmm. Um, I think my friends would, what would they be doing and how would they be feeling? Um, I think in terms of like me, yeah, in terms of me, like I think they would, um, I think they would be inviting me to things, and wanting to spend just time together, doing whatever, or accepting invitations. Even if like they can't make it sometime, then they would be like, "Hey, but I would love to do it another time," or "Let's try and find a time to hang out or talk or whatever." Um, um, I think there would be my friends would feel like I don't know a sense of comfortability with me. That would allow them to be able to express themselves as well. Um, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of fakeness. Um, of just like trying to be someone you're not. And that is kind of, I'm trying to like move away from some of that, and get a bit deeper with people. And get to actually know people too. Um,
Sure.
and so I think there would be more of that.
I've heard you mention once or twice an idea that's like I need to perform or to be something that I'm not, or that there's a certain kind of pressure on you uh, to, I suppose, form those friendships. If am I saying that right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. How do you see yourself doing that? Like how has that played out in your life that you have put that pressure on yourself or that you are becoming something that you're not?
Hmm. It's good questions. Um, Ooh, how has that played out in my life? It's caused me to, for sure, I think way more about what people think and like how I can be someone who is pleasing or helpful to them, um, in some way, shape, or form. Um, I don't really consider my own needs, in a lot of those ways, and it makes it really hard to express myself or, uh, be more open or vulnerable with the things that I am going through. A lot of times I just kind of minimize my problems and I'm like, oh, well, these aren't that big of an issue. It's okay, you know. Other people have other things going on. I'll listen and I won't, I won't give. I'm learning that in that I'm not also being open of who I am. Like I'm hiding parts of myself. So I don't know. I forgot the root question, but I just kind of kept going. So
Yeah, no, that was great. Well, Drew, our session is drawing to a close here, but um, yeah, I hope you know that that desire you have for friendship is such a human thing and something that is very good and worth pursuing. Um, and I wish you all the luck in how that develops over time. Um, because I can see just in the time that we've had that you are a person that is worth being seen and is valuable in what you do. Um, so I thank you for being here tonight, and I hope to follow up with you at some point soon.
thank you. Appreciate it, Jake.
Of course.